Welcome to the very first episode of Talking with Tamika. We have transparent talks and tantalizing eats with fascinating people. On today's show, we have a whole treat for you. This woman's story is so inspirational and she's just getting started. Please help me welcome the legume slayer herself, Miss Niehla Ollie of Homegirls Hummus. Welcome to Talking with Tamika. My first guest. Yes. Technically, you're my second guest. Marley was, on set first.
My god dog, he gonna bust through the doors.
He really is. And you know what? I did give him a job as the producer.
Mm-hmm.
He's not very good at it, but he is easy on the eyes.
He is just a cutie pie.
He really is.
Yeah.
Let's hope he don't start barking during our interview.
I mean, a dog's gonna do what a dog's gonna do, okay?
You are a South Side girl.
Yes.
Born and raised on the South Side of Chicago.
Inglewood, yeah.
Turned multi-hyphenated,
Yes.
multi-talented entrepreneur.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your journey through your career and just like your journey overall?
Yes. So I am a girl, as you said, born on the South Side of Chicago, born to an immigrant mother from the Bahamas and a daddy from Mississippi. College was absolutely in my future and on the path. And I went to Grambling and it was a great experience. Went to school, took up marketing because I was like, okay, I'm a creative person, but I need to be in the College of Business because all the cool kids in the College of Business and all the cute boys in the College of Business. What can I do? And I said, you know what? What's the most creative area of business? Marketing. So I went ahead and I took up marketing. I got a degree in marketing. And when I got out, I worked in advertising for a while. And I was like, what y'all doing over here?
So it was not fulfilling? Was it not what you expected? The advertising
It was
world
absolutely corporate America. And I was hoping that it would be a more creative aspect on corporate. But as I continued to work in certain environments, I found that opportunities were going to people who didn't necessarily look like me. And those same people would send me an email or call me every week and ask me the same questions, yet they would continue to get promoted. And I was like, well, this is cool. I don't even like y'all like that. I don't care. How do I get out? And so I decided at that moment, I said, well, I've always wanted to do this fashion thing. This was something I really wanted to do. And what I didn't know was that my grandmother also had dreamed of being a fashion designer for plus size women.
Wow.
I didn't find that out until after I started my clothing line. She told me. And so I went back to school for fashion and I got a degree in fashion production from the Illinois Institute of Art. And then, I'm still working and trying to figure out what my next move is because I'm like, okay, I work here 8 to 9 hours a day. I'm exhausted when I get home. I don't feel one lick of creativity once I leave this place. So how do I transition into a career that's going to give me creativity, give me flexibility, and give me an opportunity to really work on my fashion? And so I was like, what else do I really like to do that's creative? And I was like, I like this whole makeup thing. This is fun. I like it. Let me go ahead and try to figure out how I can take some classes. And I went to go talk to my people at my friendly neighborhood Mac counter at Marshall Fields. And they were like, oh, well, we don't teach those kinds of classes here, but one of our employees teaches a class over at Columbia. You should go take it. I took a 6-month program. And honey, the rest was history. Murder, She Wrote.
Wow. So you went from the advertising world to fashion and beauty. It's all blended.
Yes.
To now being Homegirls Hummus. Girl, that hummus.
Honey.
Oh my gosh.
I sure do love it.
You know what? I want you to tell us the story of how did you go from doing all these things to being like, I'm about to make my own hummus?
So here's the thing about me. I am definitely a creative soul. I am a sensitive soul. I'm a Cancer. I'm an emotional person. I like to do things that I like to do until I don't want to do them anymore. And that's the reality of a lot of people. Generations before us felt like you go to this place and you stay here you do this thing for 40 years and then you wait to die.
Yeah.
Like I want to be fulfilled every step of the way. And I realize that I don't have to play by those rules. I can create my own rules. And so if I like doing something and I really enjoy it and I'm going to immerse myself in it, it's great until the time is up for that. You have to know where your passions lie and where your interests are, because one thing that you don't want to do is start to become resentful or have an attitude, or when you start feeling that when you have to go and do something. And I think for me, although I loved my time in the beauty industry. I knew when it was coming to a close, like honestly, right before the pandemic, and I was preparing and gearing up, over the years because I knew I'm always looking at what's my next.
Yeah.
And I knew that the food thing was going to be my next once I realized how much I enjoyed cooking. So with the hummus, I was doing my makeup thing with one of our really good friends. We were in Milwaukee. I would go help her out with these different things. And after we got through doing these gigs, we would always go to the public market and go get food. And at this time, she was vegan or vegetarian, and I was a regular old flexitarian. And we would go to this place that served this great hummus, this great green hummus. It was the best hummus in the world, so we thought. So I'm going, we're getting this hummus, blah, blah, blah. It was really good. One night, I'm at home in Chicago. And I was like, I sure do want some of that hummus.
I'm hankering.
Yes. And I was like, you know what? I'm not about to drive 2 hours to Milwaukee tomorrow to get this hummus. I ain't got the time or the resources. So what I'm going to do is figure this out because I'm a smart girl. My daddy's an amazing cook. My mom's an amazing cook. And I'm sure I can figure this out. So I go on to Google Schmoogle. And I'm like, hummus. They give me a basic recipe, and I'm like, I need to turn it green because I don't even know what the flavor of this hummus was.
Oh.
I just knew it was green.
Okay.
Honey, I put everything in that food processor to make this hummus green. And what I ended up with was something that was even better than the hummus that I was craving.
On the first try?
After like 3 tries.
Okay.
Because it was getting progressively better. And of course, progressively greener. And I took it to my dad, who was like the captain of the meat industry. Okay. Because my dad ate all the meats.
Okay.
From Mississippi, honey. So I said, Dad, taste this. And he was like, girl, this is good. You onto something. And I said, bet. So one day I'm going to start a company called Homegirls Hummus because I'm everybody's best friend. And that day, and it had to be like 2012, was when I decided that.
Wow.
And so I actually started when I was living in Los Angeles in 2016. I actually started the brand.
Wow. That is so interesting. So like how did that name come to you?
Okay, I have a degree in marketing. So I'm one of those girls,
just, like
I know
you?
I'm sharp, I'm quick with the words, I'm very witty. Like I own who I am.
Yeah.
And I know this mouthpiece, like I got the words. So I was like, hummus, homegirls hummus. And when you know that you're a conduit for creativity, and the things pass through you, if you don't grab them, you won't retain them.
Yes. So you have experienced like a lot of different challenges in growing Homegirls Hummus. There's been some loss and all that type of thing, which I know has not been easy. Do you want to take us through that, like just that journey and that process of experiencing grief, experiencing loss, and then still pushing through to grow? Because you are like the hardest working woman in, like, at least in my network. Like, girl, I'm like, Nyla, you somewhere else today? Like, she's always popping up somewhere, speaking, she's doing media, all these things. So how did you like just get that relentlessness about this?
Well, let me be very clear. I started Homegirls Hummus in 2016 when I was living in LA. I was still working part-time, full-time. And so I didn't have the opportunity to dedicate all of my energies to it. Pandemic hit in 2020. We were furloughed. The world was still. I came home to visit my mom. After being here for a week, like honestly, my second day here, her health started to be on a decline. And so I started observing this and kind of worrying and panicking. And I'm just like, I'm going to have to move back home. And so I decided in that moment, I said, okay, I'm going to move back home and help my sister care for my mother. And my father had already passed in the end of 2015, December of 2015, which was hard. But my mother, she was resilient. And like, honestly, my grandmother passed 2 months after my dad. Wow. First her husband, then her mother. My mom was a G. Like, I don't know how she did it, but she did. And so I moved back to help to care for her. And I moved back officially in August of 2020. By December of 2020, my mom had passed away.
Wow.
This is my mom's. I wear it all the time. Her name was Brenda Patricia, but everybody called her Pat or Patricia. My mom was from the Bahamas, and so I always have her near me. That loss was devastating. I am the youngest child. It's 2 of us. My sister, who's 8 years older than me, and then me. But it was kind of like being an only child because everybody was significantly older than me. Okay. But I was at a loss because I had quit my job to move back here. I left Los Angeles. I left my career, which I knew I was on the way out anyway. And then, come to help to care for my mother, and then I lose my mother. Yeah. So now, oh my goodness.
I know that was...
It was devastating.
Very, very challenging.
And I want to thank you and our other friends for, I made the text message and you guys were at my house within an hour. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for my community. Yeah. Losing my dad was very hard. Definitely that was my homie. But my mom, that final straw of it was so challenging because being in this world without your covering of your parents, and you're not married, you don't have a family, whatever. But when you don't have that covering, it almost feels like you can't get your steps together. Like somebody pulled from the rug from under you. And it's like, well, who am I now? I was somebody's daughter. I was somebody's employee. I was somebody's this. I was somebody's that. Now I'm nobody's nothing. And you just try to figure out what is my next move, what is my next step. And I spent a lot of time in grief just trying to figure out what was happening with me. I was seeing a therapist at the time, and that's when I came to find out that I was a highly sensitive person.
We'll talk more about that.
Yes, I started even, trying to make sure that I was being spiritually aware.
Yeah.
That I knew that my mother and my father, although they had transitioned to another realm, spiritually, that they were still with me. Mm-hmm. And there is a certain level of comfort in that. But when my mother passed away, I was holding her hand and praying with her. Yeah. You could have never told me that I would have been able to usher my mother through her transition to the other side. That is a lot. Yeah. A huge responsibility. But I find so much joy that my mother was not by herself and that I was with her. My mother has always been I'm the youngest, I'm the baby. My mother always made me feel like I was the best thing since sliced bread. Mm-hmm. That's just who she was, and I'm so grateful for that that kind of love. My father and my mother were both very, very supportive of every decision that I made in terms of my career. They knew that I was the type of person who always wanted more. I did never have wanted to settle for a life of mediocrity or where I felt like there's got to be more than this.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's unfair to yourself when you settle for things that you don't really want.
That's so, so true.
Whether it's career, whether it's relationship, whether it is your city. That's why I was not afraid to move to Los Angeles. I'm like, Chicago's not it for me right now. I need to see what else in the world that God has for me. Mm-hmm. And so I owe it to myself to have a different experience. And so during my time of grief and trying to figure out my next move, and do I go back to this career? No, I want to work for myself. I don't like asking people if I could have time off. Yeah. I'm grown.
Yeah.
I'm in my 40s.
This is my time.
It is.
This is my life.
It's my breath.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to regulate how I utilize my time. And so for me, entrepreneurship full time was the thing. And being able to create my own schedule. And so God told me, he said, that little thing you've been working on? I need you to pick that back up.
So you felt God's word.
Absolutely.
God talking to you to say, this is what you need to be focusing on right now.
Yes, because during the pandemic, I became plant-based. Mm-hmm. Just like the rest of my friends. Like, it was a vegan party. And honey, I finally got my invitation. And I was like, okay then, let's do it. And so I'm cooking more plant-based meals. And I'm also what I've heard the term pesca vegan. Like I try to eliminate my dairy, but every once in a while I will have fish or seafood. But I had been cooking, even with my mom being sick, I was trying to cook more plant-based for her and wanting to see if that would help to affect, her lifestyle. And I was getting so much good feedback for the things that I was making. And I knew that I really wanted to grow my hummus business and really do more of that because it was another creative thing that I could do.
Yeah.
But this time, it wasn't dependent on other people. See, in the beauty industry, with doing makeup and having people and exchanging that energy, sometimes it's a bit much. Mm-hmm. But with me making this food,
especially as a HSP.
Honey, okay? The whole thing, shut the whole thing down. You No, not you, not today. I can put on my headphones. I can be in this kitchen making this product, pouring everything that I have, all the love, all the grief, all the emotions, all the joy, all the memories. I can pour all of that into the creative process of making this product. And when people ask me, girl, why does your hummus taste so good? I'm like, it's the love, but it really is. Mm-hmm. It's the love that I've had. It's the love that I desire to have. It is the love that I have to give. All of that I can pour into something that I create and give it to people because it's an extension of me.
Oh my gosh. Girl, I almost started like bawling with you. I'm like, hold on, you gotta keep yourself together.
Girl, I mean, listen, you knew my mom, and my mom loved her Tamika. She loved her some Tamika. She really did. She loved you. She loved your story. She loved your spirit. My mother was a great, she knew people's character. Mm. She was always able to pinpoint within the first 5 minutes. She'd be like, don't bring her over here no more. I don't.
Miss Brenda wouldn't play them games, honey.
She was funny acting Caribbean woman, and I love it.
And she was hilarious.
Oh yes, especially
so
inappropriate.
Oh my God, we would cut up. We would cut up. Yes.
With all my friends, y'all would come over and be sitting at the table talking to her, and I'd be like, "No, wait a minute, these are my friends. I'm going upstairs to my apartment. Come see me when y'all get through, because my mother, she was gonna captivate the crowd."
We talked about highly sensitive people being an HSP. Yes. So I have done my research on this as well because I was reading. I'm not fully through with it yet, but the book about being a highly sensitive person. Yes. You mentioned the term to me before.
Yes.
A lot of people will confuse it with being an empath. They're not the same exact thing. They can overlap. You can be both. So the HSP, it's people that like, they feel things very intently.
Yes.
I avoid violence on TV at all costs.
Oh my God.
I cannot stand watching somebody get beat up or like in real life or on a movie. I don't want to see violence.
No, it rattles us.
Anything that can be like overwhelming.
Abrasive tones.
Yes.
People talking at you crazy.
Yeah.
And not even understanding like, I don't like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just like also you have to recharge.
You do.
So we're both very outgoing, outspoken. We pour our energy into whatever it is that we're doing.
Yes.
But you and me both, we'll be like, I'm about to be in the bed for about 72 hours.
I got to go
recharge again. I need to get my life together.
Because you pour out so much. You pour and you have it to give, but then it's just like, and then when you're surrounded by the wrong kind of energy, they will continue to pull and pull and pull and be like, hey, what's wrong with you? It's like, hey. Yeah. I gave you what I got, now go sit down.
We pick up on nuances of people's energy. And if we can tell if somebody's sad and they may not even say that they're sad. Or we can tell like just certain little nuances about people that we may know or may not even know.
We can even tell, honestly, I feel like when we listen, when God speaks to us, He will put somebody on our heart or on our minds. And it's just like that sensitivity of like, hey, call this person.
Yes.
They're going through. They need a lifeline. Yeah. You know, even like they say that highly sensitive people are some of the best bosses because we understand how to style step. We are able to speak to people in a way that they can receive it because we understand that everybody doesn't take the same kind of information the same way. Some people need very direct. Some people need a little bit more gentle approach. So highly sensitive people make some of the best bosses and supervisors, you know, because we want to make sure that you're okay, that you feel comfortable. And we also want to push you to greatness, but we know how to do it gently. Whereas some people can be a little bit more abrasive.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about like navigating through this insensitive world for you, your experience as a highly sensitive person, because girl, we've had conversations.
Yes.
You've taught me some things too.
Honey, I am the shutdown queen, you know, and it's not a shutdown like, so you have to be mindful of the energy that you surround yourself with. You have to be realistic with yourself. And you have to know when enough is enough, because what it can do is cause you to become somebody you don't want to be. Yeah. And then you will lash out and be a little snippy. Yeah. And it doesn't make us feel good to be that way. But also, just like when you back a lion into a corner, they're going to come out, you know, roaring. And they might swipe you. Yeah. And I don't want to swipe nobody.
No.
You know?
Swiper, no swiping.
No swiping. So I just have learned to be quiet or go to myself. I'm a person who answering the phone first thing in the morning. is a nod. The only person who I used to answer the phone for first thing in the morning was my mother.
Okay.
She would call me with the good morning song. We would talk. We would kiki when I was living in California. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Oh, you got that from mommy.
Yes.
And you be singing it to me.
I do. And
You
I
got
used
your
to
remix,
do
though.
a version of it when I would do lives. And when I do lives on Instagram,
Yes.
I will do it because it's a great way to usher people into the day. You want to usher yourself and others into the day gently. If somebody who's known for a traumatic or dramatic situation starts calling you in the morning, you have the choice to not answer your phone. Because I don't know about y'all, but I got Verizon. And Verizon's not cheap. And so what no one is going to do is push me to answer a call that they're not paying the bill for.
Yeah.
And even if you pay the bill, I'm sorry, I'm unavailable.
I'm still on Do Not Disturb.
Listen, I will not be disturbed.
Like DeVito, unavailable, honey, in a quickness.
I don't like that. So in the first thing in the morning, do not let someone or some energy abruptly push you into the day because it sets the tone for your entire day.
Can I also say even a harsh alarm?
Yes.
It will get me in a mood. And I right.
No.
Don't give me that end of the world, alert sound. I need something more gentle.
Dude. No, and okay. I have a story about the end of the world. I have to tell it. I'm so sorry. I have to tell it though.
Go ahead.
Okay, I had just gotten out of college. One of my friends, she loves this story, and she actually called me on Ash Friday and was like, "Oh, today's my favorite day." So I was out of college. It was Lent. I'm temping. I'm walking around downtown looking for the address, and I had just started the Left Behind series. So these people are walking around with these marks on their forehead, and I'm like, "Oh no, this is the mark of the believer." I'm like looking in the store window, like, "Do I have my mark?" Because I'm half asleep. It's like 8 something in the morning. I'm walking around downtown. Child, people start coming out to church, and I said, "Oh
God,
it's Ash Wednesday."
Oh God,
they got the ashes on it, and I went to Catholic school, but I was just so oblivious, and it freaked me out, honey. I thought Jesus was coming back, and I was going to get left behind.
It's the rapture.
And one of my other friends, one of my new friends, she just told me the same story. I said, "Girl, me too."
Oh my God,
Honey, I thought Jesus was coming back, and I didn't get my ticket.
Yeah, you was like, I didn't get caught up in the
I'm
rapture.
like, I need my ticket for the train.
That can be scary.
If
you're not aware and abreast of the day and the time and whatnot.
But guess what? He ain't came back yet. But when he come, I'm going. Look. I'm gonna hang on to that coattail, sir. What we doing, sir? I'm holding on like in Vogue. What are we doing? I'm going too.
Oh my gosh, that is so hilarious.
What's wrong with your friend?
Girl, you are too much.
Just enough, actually.
Let me get my life together. For this next question.
Yes.
Okay. So. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about your love life.
Okay.
You are single.
Oh my God.
Like
the number
single,
one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, a lot of my single girlfriends.
Because there's a lot of us out here.
There are a lot of single women that I know. And a lot of them say that there has been something that has happened to the dating pool. They say that there is now pee in the pool.
I want to raise you a pee and give you a good old fecal matter.
Damn.
They doing all the things in the dating pool. And it's nasty in there.
Ain't no chlorine to kill no germs.
Honey, the chlorine, unfortunately, like the pandemic, they done went to all the stores. Girl. They done bought all the bleach. Can't even clean the dating pool. I don't know. What is we going to do?
Girl, do you have any stories that you're willing to share about that?
I would like to say that I have had several situations when I've met some people and, they've been single. Mm-hmm. Their wives have been married.
Well, damn.
Unfortunate state of affairs. And I've also encountered a number of guys who are not really clear on what they want. Mm-hmm. And so they got one toe in, one toe out the dating pool, which I understand, sir. The dating pool is nasty. Don't put your foot in there. Mm-mm. However, I'm not in the pool. I'm in the kids' pool. I'm in the kids' pool.
Shallow water.
Honey, wade in the waters because I want God to trouble those waters, okay? It's just been a very interesting experience. I take time off. I go in. I'm like, okay, I want a date. And then I'm just like, oh, no. wasting my time and I don't want it. Let me concentrate on this work. It's been an interesting experience. I try to take it very lightly because it's no reflection on me. Yeah. It's a reflection on the culture that we live in. And it's not just for Black women. It's not just for women of color. I realized that when I started watching Sex and the City, I'm like, oh, y'all having the same problems that everybody having. It's just a different day and a different age. And the men are just created differently. And that's not to say that the man that you would like to meet and for him to court you, that he's not out there. He's just a little bit harder to meet. And just be patient, you know.
Yeah, my thing is like, I'll just tell my friends, just make sure that you don't become, if you're in the market, make sure that you don't become like a hermit, that you do everything, you know, in the house type of thing. Like, just being out and about is really, really good. Putting yourself out there in terms of like, okay, I really don't feel like going to this party or this get together. That's how I ended up meeting my husband. Ended up going to a get together, and I was like in between, like, was waiting on a friend to be ready to go to the club. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I'll go to this get together and kill some time, and ended up not making it to the club because I met Anthony, but
I don't mind the out, but it's the about part that just kind of troubles me. I like to go out. I go out to the store. I go out to pick up supplies, but it's the about part. I'm still working on it. I mean, I like people, and I'll strike up a conversation with a snail. However, catch me on the wrong day and I got the tunnel vision. I'm just like,
absolutely.
You know.
Yeah. And honestly, it's just like, it's the whole thing about being single is a lot of women are like, this is my choice. I prefer to be single. And I completely understand and I completely empathize with that, because what you don't want is just to get with somebody just to be having a warm body next to you. That ain't about nothing. I need somebody who's going to challenge me, who's going to support me, who's going to be an addition.
Absolutely.
An addition.
Yes. Who is going to supplement.
Yeah.
We don't need any subtractions. No. And I just, you know, in terms of life, and you already know my stance on how, like, it's got to be better than this. For relationships, that is even the scariest part, because that's a very intimate situation. And you need somebody who you can trust with your highs and your lows. Somebody who is supportive and wants to see you do well and you want to see them do well. It has to be something that is reciprocal, because if it's not, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah. There are plenty of people who like a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people go for the people who don't want the things that they want. I feel like you need to meet the people who like what you like and who like to do what you do.
Yeah.
You know, one of the dating coaches, I listen to a lot of things on the internet, and I listen to this guy. He was like, go to places that you like going anywhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, and meet the people who like to do the same things that you like to do. Don't try to go, like, if you're a crackhead, go to the crack house. Your perfect match is at one of those crack houses. If you like a museum, go to the museum. You know, you're going to find somebody who likes artifacts and art, things like that. It just depends, you know. If you make comments and you go into the grocery store to get supplies, if the person in front of you only got 6 packs of beer, they're probably not your person. Because that might be the only thing they have in their fridge. Meanwhile, you like to cook. If you're a person who is living a plant-based lifestyle, and this is the one thing that I do realize, you'll go on the dating apps, and then you'll see these people who say they like to cook, and then they'll have a styrofoam plate on their page full of like ribs and then beans and then chicken. And you're like, where's the green vegetables? You know, why is this on a styrofoam plate? Why did you take a picture of this? Why do you think this is fine dining? I don't like it. You're not for me. And you go like that. You go left on you.
I was going to ask you, are you on any app? Well, maybe I shouldn't ask you that, because then...
Girl, I don't care. I'm about to get off. It's
okay. And then also I wanted to ask you, are there any deal breakers? Like, what are... I know there's deal breakers.
Yeah.
Everybody has deal breakers.
Yeah.
What are your deal breakers, and what, like, is your ideal situation? So... dating apps, are you...
Dating apps are interesting, and they're fun. It's like playing solitaire sometimes, I feel like, on my phone. Like, if I'm sitting somewhere bored, like if I'm waiting to get on a flight, I'm just like, let me go ahead and play solitaire. What are you doing? Nothing. Just doing something. For me, the deal breakers are people who don't have any vision or goal for their lives. Because when, listen, the Bible says, lack of vision, the people gonna perish.
Period.
I don't want to perish. I want vision. What are the things that I aspire to? What are the things that I like? What are the things that I want? And if you don't want anything, that's fine, but you don't want me. Because I want things. I want experiences. I want to live a life outside of the life that I've already, I only want to go up from here. Yeah. I don't want to digress. I want to progress.
Absolutely.
And so I think that when you are a person who has a mindset that's upwardly mobile, then you want to be around somebody who has the same kind of mindset. You want somebody who is has a faith. And for me, I'm Christian. I would desire to have somebody who is also Christian. I don't want to be worshiping in different places on Sunday.
Equally yoked is important.
I might go to the church house and you might be going to the whorehouse. I don't know.
And then you might find your real boo in the church. Who knows?
I may, but some of these guys in the church be playing these games.
They really do.
They play. People play games everywhere
because people are human.
They aren't they?
And humans be humaning.
Oh my God. And I'm going to need y'all, listen, and that's fine. But just find the type of human that you will human with. Deal breakers for me are liars, are people who don't have any goals or dreams or ambitions, people who don't like people, because I like people. So I don't want to be around somebody, I don't like people. Okay, well then stay your non-people having stuff right on over there, because I'm a person.
Yeah.
If you don't like people, you probably don't like me either.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, you're too outgoing for that type of thing.
Can be.
Yeah.
When I'm on the high HSP, when I'm on the low HSP, I need
when
a
you're
nap.
in a recharge state.
Yes. But the kinds of things that I like, I like to laugh. Yes. I like good conversation. I like people who are trying to figure out how to be better. I'm the queen of the self-help book or the getting to know yourself better book or whatever. I like the 4 Agreements. I like another book called The Voice of Knowledge. I'm always reading. I want to hear people's stories. I want to figure out, what motivated them, what inspired them, how can I glean motivation and inspiration from this. I like to know people's stories, and then it just inspires me to do better. And so I like people who are thoughtful and who are not one-track thinkers.
Yeah.
You have to be able to think outside of the box. This world is so big and so vast. And if you're only on this one track, going from here to St. Louis, you missing all the other states around you because you're just I'm just right here and this is all I'm going to do. And I want you to do that by yourself.
Oh.
I won't do it with you. I don't like that. Don't be no jerk. Make it work.
Don't be no jerk.
Make it work. Okay? And if you find that you are not this person, there's so much that I'm hearing that can terrify me. All these dating stories. And it's so interesting, but I also know that when we choose to settle for things that we don't want, or we choose to be blinded by the fact that I really, really want this, so I'm willing to deal with whatever comes, it just makes me really sad. I've been hearing stories about a young lady who's dealing with some things, and I'm like, God bless you. Thank you for your honesty, because so many of us, not just women, but people, will get into situations that we don't want because we want to be chosen or we want to be involved. And it's peace by myself is so much more valuable than spending time with somebody who I don't really like and who does not like me.
Ooh, you just said a word, honey.
Because if you sitting there scowling at me because whatever's going on in my life or because I want the next thing, then I need you to concentrate on yourself.
Yeah.
What's going to be the next thing for you?
Yeah. You take us through your, what does it look like for your day to day? When you wake up, what you're doing when you wake up, because your day is pretty jam packed.
So if it's a day that I'm on, then I may wake up. Now here's the reality. I'm a woman of a certain age. I get up around 4:00. I'll be like,
in the morning,
what's happening? What y'all doing? Is the news on yet?
What time you go to sleep?
I've started.
I go to bed early.
We already know that, honey. Night owl in it. Okay. I usually am asleep by 10.
Okay.
Every once in a while, if I'm feeling a little jazzy, it might be 11.
And you still wake up at 4 a.m.?
It is my internal alarm. I think when you get to a certain age, the switch just goes. I'll be like, what? 4:30 for you? And I'll be like, hey, good morning.
Okay, 4:30.
I'll force myself to go back to sleep. Or sometimes when I feel really pressed to do something, or if I have something in my mind or my heart, I will get up, I'll go to my computer, or I'll get on my phone and start doing stuff. And I've got to get a lot better about removing my phone from my bed because it's so easy to roll over.
Oh my God.
Get on the socials. You start looking up stuff, whatever. Put a notebook by my bed with a pen. Put a notebook by your bed with a pen and write things down and then go back to sleep. That way you feel a relief, like I got it out. Yes. But I'm not affected by all this noise that's coming in from social media. And curate your social media timeline to the kinds of things that you want to see. I don't follow crazy stuff because I don't want that in my spirit.
The gossip sites and whatnot.
I don't want to know. And I'm going to find out anyway because y'all been talking about it.
It's all good.
But getting up early and then I'm either going to a market or preparing for a market. So I'm going to get up. I'm on a run. I may run some errands or I may just get up and run to the kitchen space, the commercial kitchen, and start creating product and making sure that I'm ready for the week. I may start labeling things. All of that stuff, honestly, is so therapeutic for me and it brings me so much joy. I really, really enjoy it. I can't even lie to you. And I will put on a podcast.
Yes.
I have some of my favorite podcasts.
You're always like absorbing something positive.
Yes.
Like you're always listening to something. Because let's talk about how important it is to guard your eyes, your ears, your spirit, all that
and
stuff.
Your heart.
Oh. It is so, so important.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
You have to be so careful what you allow in.
Absolutely.
Because whatever goes in, it comes out. You know, there's a scripture and I can't, like, it's whatever you concentrate on.
Yeah.
Whatever you concentrate on, it's what you become. And that's just the reality of it. You are what you eat. You are what you intake. You are what you drink. You are what you breathe. And so we have to be very careful what we allow to come inside of our spirit.
Yeah.
Because in some form or fashion, it's going to come back out. And it may not be in an ideal place or situation or with the same ideal person.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So the mindset thing is just so important because I'm sure the mindset thing had to be, spirituality and mindset had to be so important in you growing Homegirls Hummus and getting up. Because there had to be days when you was like, I don't feel like doing this market.
You
have multiple markets in one day or,
Absolutely.
5 or 6 in 1 week.
And I may sometimes have to go to bed at 12 or 1 o'clock because I was up trying to make sure that I was prepared for the next day. And then I go to bed and then 3 hours later, I'm right back up because maybe I need to leave the house by 5:30. When I have a market that's about 45 minutes from me and I have to be there at 6:15 to set up to be ready to sell by 7. That's a very early call time. And this market starts when it's not the warmest outside and it ends when it's not the warmest outside. So if this market started at the beginning of April, it's still cold outside. If this market runs through the week before Thanksgiving, I am outside. There are snow flurries. All the things are going on. But what's my motivation? What's my motivation? That I'm giving an amazing product to people who really desire it. They love it. I've built a community. People enjoy the interactions. They enjoy the product. And they're going to come back. And I love seeing my repeat customers. I love when I can say, hey, Nancy, what's going on? I have a lady at this market. Her name is Nancy. She's amazing. She comes. I already know what she wants when she's coming. When I see my certain clients, I will go ahead and pull my things out of the cooler and start bagging it up for them because I already know what they want. And I love the feeling of familiarity.
Yeah, absolutely. You're so big into community and whatnot. So that makes so much sense.
Yes. People like, I got a background in marketing. And one of the first rules of marketing, buying and selling, is people don't buy from businesses. They buy from friends.
Ooh, yeah.
Having a relationship with your clientele. And for me, bigger than the hummus is radical customer service. Make people feel appreciated and welcomed. And when you are familiar with the people who are building these relationships with you based on your business and based on your product, they become an extension of you, a part of your community, an extension of your family. You want to know how their kids are doing. They want to know how stuff going with the business. Have you done this yet? Oh, I saw you doing this. I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. They love that. And so I was doing an event a couple weeks ago and these ladies came in and they were like, oh my God, I had to come to see you today at this event. We've never met you, but I saw you on this. I follow your Instagram. I love your joy. I love your energy. I love your positivity. I had to come and support your business and I had to come and taste this product. And it's such an amazing feeling when you have people who are drawn to that kind of energy, because you know that's your tribe, that's your village. Those are like-minded, like-spirited people who want to come and engage with you. And it's such a beautiful experience.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Yeah, absolutely. So I did want to ask you, what is like what's your ideal situation with Homegirls Hummus, like some years down the road?
With my limited vision, because you know God knows all things, I just know a little bit. I would love to have a Homegirls Hummus truck that can maneuver. I'm a girl who's on the go. I like to move around. I like to go to different places. I would like to have maybe a Homegirls Hummus cafe someplace, or even in partnership with another business that is a similar business.
Yes,
complimentary business. That would be amazing, so that I can do the hummus and they can do whatever plant-based situation, you know. And then for me, having this truck that I can go from location to location, still doing our markets, because I think that having that face-to-face interaction is a huge thing. Like, a lot of people are like, are you in storage yet? Are you in storage yet? Honestly, the Homegirls Hummus is bigger than being on a grocery store shelf. And I'm not saying that that's not something that I want, but right now, as I'm building a brand, as I'm building a community, as I'm building a following, I love the opportunity to engage with our customers and talk to them in real time about the things that you love, the things that you don't love so much. What would you like to see change? Well, I listen to a lot of people. Like, some of the markets that I'm in right now are because of some of my customers who's like, you'll be really good in that market. And so I was like, well, let me check this out. And then it happened. And it's been such an amazing journey. People, when they're invested in your story and they want to see you do well, they will refer you to people. They will make suggestions to you. You never know who you're engaging with when you meet people at different markets. That's why, one of the reasons why, not just because you need to be a good person, you do, but also when you are talking to people, when you're engaging with people, even on your social media, you don't know who's watching. You don't know who will be the person who's going to be your next connection or partnership to get you where you need to be. You can help them, they can help you. You have to treat everybody with kindness and respect. I'm a big fan of the golden rule. Treat people the way that you want to be treated. I want to make sure that when people meet me or when they engage with me, that they see my eyes light up, that I'm asking you questions about your life, about your story. Like, I had a customer last season. I started talking to her about more of a plant-based lifestyle. I'm like, go watch What the Health, go watch Forks Over Knives. It's going to change your life. She came back the next week like, girl, me and my mom watched it. I threw all the meat in my house away, or whatever the case may be. It feels really good to share information. You know, and
that's
you
why
want to
see
going
people live too.
I love going live, but I had to kind of take it down a little bit, because I talk about everything because we're friends, right?
The homegirl.
You are you're the homies. And I'm the homegirl. I'm your favorite homegirl. So I want to talk about everything. But I want to make sure that my social media outlet and my website have a great mixture of my business and also the community aspect.
Yes.
It's not always about the hummus. Like, yeah, you're going to buy the hummus, but added value. Let's talk about life. Let's talk about love. Let's talk about relationships. Let's talk about family. Let's talk about experiences and growth and positivity. What is your morning ritual? What are you listening to? What are your favorite podcasts? Like, all those things that you talk to with your homegirl.
Yeah.
That's why I'm the homegirl.
Yeah.
What?
And just like making it into that lifestyle brand about wellness.
Yes.
Overall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So, and speaking of wellness,
you
brought something for us to eat. So we need to bring out these tantalizing eats to the Homegirls Hummus.
Oh, tasty and delicious, honey.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
When I say Nyla, you be throwing down, I call you Chef Nyla.
Thank you.
Because you weren't really using that word.
No.
Because you're self-taught.
Yes.
However, you still out here chefing it up.
Thank you, friend. I love it.
Everything I've eaten that you have created has been tantalizing.
I'm like,
what is she doing?
Just doing some stuff.
Yeah.
Being creative in the kitchen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and that's a gift.
My man gonna be so happy because that food gonna be so good. I'm just saying.
And
I'm gonna be happy because he gonna cook too.
He might be watching right now.
Hey, boo. How you doing?
Yes, girl. We're gonna do the magic of television and prep this food real quick, and then we're gonna come back and eat it.
Right on back to you, okay?
Yes, honey.
Yes.
Oh. Bust it open.
Bust it, bust it, bust it, bust it, baby. Ah.
Okay. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Look at those mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
It smells so tantalizing in real life.
Yeah, it is a barbecue jerk chicken, which is shredded oyster mushroom. And then we got some black bean mixture in there with some cauliflower rice. We got some lettuce, we got some tomato, and of course we have some roasted red pepper hummus.
Yes.
The Phoenix.
From Homegirls Hummus.
From Homegirls Hummus, yes.
Okay.
Have y'all checked out the website? Check out the website.
Yes.
www.homegirlshummus.com. Homegirls Hummus.
Yes.
Not homegirl hummus. Homegirls with
It's
an S.
plural. So should I just
You ready?
Yeah, get the
You want to dip it? Oh, and I'm going to dip it in some of this vegan sour cream. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I should have got a spoon, but oh well. It's all good.
Honey. Oh, we got to put this cotto on top. It's cotto in and it's going to be cotto
yes.
on top. Yes. Ready?
We have to do a little cheers.
Cheers!
Oh. Lord.
Damn, that's good.
In real life.
Not because I made it.
No, it's because you made it. That's why it's so dang on good.
Because it's the truth.
I love the way that you seasoned the mushrooms, and the texture is really very like meaty and substantial.
Thank you.
Oh my god. This bite is even better than the first one. So you said you did like a barbecue jerk?
I like spicy and I like savory, but I also always like to balance it with a little sweet. Man. My mom was acquainted with that because when she made spaghetti, she would put a little sugar in it.
Yeah.
When she made barbecue sauce, she made her own barbecue sauce. And people will always ask my mom to make barbecue sauce for cookouts.
Really?
Because she knew how to make a good barbecue sauce.
Nice.
And she would. And so it was a little sweet, a little tangy, had a little vinegary kick to it. It was really delicious. She would put a little beer in it. Any beer would do. So I love balancing sweet and savory with a little spice. It's always nice.
You balanced it right.
Thank you, friend.
Is there anything else as you take that big bite? Is there anything else that you would like to add on top of what we talked about already?
I think that if you have things in your life that you want to do, don't wait. Tomorrow's not promised. Just because life looks one way today doesn't mean it's going to look the same way tomorrow.
Wow.
Trust the process. Just know that whatever it is that you're seeking in life is also seeking you, which is why we have to be so careful with our words.
Yes.
Because literally your words, the Bible says the power of life and death are in the tongue, but also your words, you use them to cast spells. And I learned that from Don Miguel Ruiz, from the Four Agreements and the Voice of Knowledge. Whatever you say, you're putting out there into the world is what it is. It's whatever your reality is. So that's you being careful about the words that you use to describe yourself or your life situation or what you want. And also being very careful about what you allow people to say about you or over you.
So true.
You can rebuke it. You can reject it. Like, I remember I was watching this interview with one of our favorite influencers.
I already know what you're talking about.
Her cousin, such and such. And the girl who interviewed her, I really liked the girl, but the girl was like, "You are such and such," and she was like, "No, I ain't that."
Actually, I don't identify as that.
I do not, and I love it because there's a graceful way to rebuke or to say, "Well, I don't agree with this," and you can say it nicely so people can understand. Because what you have to realize is, however you put something out there, you have to make sure that the person who's receiving it is receiving it with your intention of love and grace and not with nastiness. They may not even think there's anything wrong with what they're saying. We're not in somebody else's head, and we have to assume that everybody's coming from pure intentions. Assume that they're coming from the right place. And so when you respond to them, let your response be coming from the right place. Because even if they are not coming from the right place, a soft answer turns away wrath. And that's biblical too. I'm sorry I'm giving y'all all the Bible today, but a soft answer turns away wrath. So you have to be so mindful. Whatever it is that you want in this world, speak that. And whatever it is that you don't want, silence it. Sometimes when I get quiet,
So
people
true.
like, what's wrong, whatever.
Mhm.
Even if I have certain things that I'm anxious about or have fears about, I don't give them words.
Mhm.
Because when it gets words, it gets legs and it starts moving
That's
around.
so true.
So I'll be like, get your butt
Like,
right
nope,
over here.
we're not even going to talk about that. We're not even going to speak that.
I'm going to shove you right underneath my blanket. Or if I need to verbalize it, I'm either going to talk to God or a trusted friend, and I'm going to say it, release it, and be like, that's not what I want. This is how I'm feeling. Let me be honest with it. But now that I have it out there, let me shove it under my blanket. Let me throw it in the garbage can, because I don't need that emotion.
Absolutely not. That is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You finished.
Girl, I like, look, have you want a little napkin?
Yes.
Girl.
Caught.
Yeah. You got enough to make another one after this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I was going to make you a big old burrito, honey, for the
Look.
dinners, okay? Take care of your friends.
Hey.
And the friends that pour into you, pour back into them. She is a pourer. She's an HSP. I'm an HSP. Highly sensitive people. But we also are people who give and give and give and pour. And you have to know when your cup is running low, go and retreat, go and recharge, and then come back like Tamika said. It's so important. But you don't ever want your, when you start to pour from an empty cup, that's when you start having those feelings of resentment, those feelings of anger, those feelings of, why would you keep asking? Because you keep saying yes. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, why would you,
you have no boundaries.
You don't have boundaries, so how can you expect people to have boundaries with you?
Or
I think
weak boundaries.
Yeah, and so you're as much to blame as the people who you're frustrated with, because you have created this monster. You've set the pace for this race.
You know what you have helped me learn, and that has helped me to avoid doing too much, is just like wait and respond, don't react. Because so many of us just be like, you know what I'm saying? In terms of like reacting to somebody, saying something crazy, doing something that you don't like, whatever it may be. Wait and respond. And sometimes just waiting is a response. No response is a response.
No response is a response. Absolutely.
So when people are, just making you feel any kind of uncomfortable, if you don't really want to answer the question, if you don't really want to do the thing or anything like that, if you have a people pleaser personality.
And sometimes, I don't know if this is the same for you, but I love spreading joy. And I like people to be happy. I don't like people to feel sad. I used to be the type of person who I would rather that I would be in pain than for me to cause you pain. It would cause me more pain to cause you pain than for me to actually be in pain.
That's the highly sensitiveness of it all.
And guess what?
Yeah.
It ain't that no more, baby.
Nyla, thank you so much for being my first guest.
Oh my God, thank you so much for having me as your first guest. You are the best.
Thank you, friend. That's you.
This has been amazing.
Thank you.
And I'm so excited for this journey that you are on. God has prepared you for this in so many amazing ways. And I love to see the glow up. And I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you. Thank you for allowing me to be your first guest, even though Marley was the first one, the god dog. But he be doing too much, so he got kicked off set.
Man.
But thank you, friend.
Thank you so much. It is truly my pleasure.
This was the best.
So awesome. Thank you. I love you.
I love you too.
If you enjoyed this episode, I need you to do something for me.
What you
like,
gonna do?
Share, subscribe. Tell your mama, tell your auntie, tell your cousin. Share it. Do all the things. Thank you so much. Look, I'm putting my napkin down. Thank you so much for tuning in to the first episode of Talking with Tamika.
I need you to make me another one.
Absolutely.
Okay then.
Hey, is everything doing what it's supposed to do? Is it giving what it's...
Where your red lip at?
I know. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I'm over here about to be like, what?
I ain't about to be the only bold lip hoe up in here. We gonna both have bold lips.
Period.
Because why do we do so much? I don't know.
Because it's what we do. Oh, I'm sitting on a plant and shit.
Fernie, you okay? I know. She didn't mean to hurt you. This necklace is everything.
Thank you. It's a vintage standout style.
I love it.
Thanks, friend.
Okay. All right. I think we got it.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. You better hype, honey. Yeah.
Okay.